In this tutorial, we will use Chirp synthesizer to simulate an engine sound effect. If you look into the miscellaneous folder, you will see a graph named Engine Power Tactic K Sustain Release. At the end of this tutorial, we will have something similar to this. In order to simulate anything, you need to understand how it works. So let's view the spectrogram of a real vacuum cleaner engine sound. When an engine starts, its main frequencies will increase by a nonlinear function. When the engine reaches its target RPM, its main frequencies are nearly constant, though their energy can vary a lot due to noise. On powering down, all frequencies decay back to zero. So, to simulate these frequencies, we can use Chirp synthesizers. And for the background noise, we will use a residual synthesizer. Now, let's create a new MetaSounds graph. Name it Engine Simulation. We will start with Chirp synthesizers, so I will temporarily use mono output. Connect all the default pins. Promote this to graph input, and choose Engine Vacuum Cleaner. Again, when modal parameters are used, F0 pin is ignored. Promote Chirp mode to graph input, and change it to exponent. From the spectrogram, we can see that it took around 1 second for all frequencies to be nearly stabilized. So I will change Chirp duration to 1 second. Also, remember to change decay scale to 0. We need to randomize the amplitude of all frequencies over time. Based on the spectrogram, I will change random rate to 0.5 second, and amplitude random range to 80%. This means that each 0.5 second, the amplitude of each frequency will be increased, or decreased, by a maximum value of 80%. Before playing, I will add a wavewriter node to view the output later. We still haven't added the background noise, so this looks quite different compared to the real one. But you can see that exponent mode closely resembles how an engine starts. Due to performance reasons, the function we use doesn't match 100% with the real one. And we don't simulate small fluctuations of the main frequencies either. But the audible differences are small enough to be ignored. Note that the energy of each frequency is randomized independently. Okay, let's do the powering down now. I will add a power down trigger input so we can control it from Blueprint or C++. From the spectrogram, we know all frequencies are reduced to 0. So I will use a trigger route node to shift the pitches down to 0. You can use -1000 here for safety. We also need to change the decay scale to 1. And the chirp duration is much longer on powering down. about 8 seconds. Play it again. Kind of similar, but the real one has lots of higher frequencies here. Also note that for exponent and sigmoid modes, if frequencies are lower than 20 Hz, their amplitude is reduced to 0. So back to our graph, I will add another node to create extra frequencies when powering down. Copy all of this. Change this to only run on powering down to save performance. Change this to 48 to create higher frequencies. And change this to 0. I will delay this a bit. This is done to make sure that, on power down trigger, our frequencies are correct. Yeah, sound more realistic now. Time to add a residual synthesizer for the background noise. Change this to stereo. Mix the outputs. Connect all the default pins. Promote this to graph input, and choose vacuum cleaner. Let's take a look at this residual data. Note that its duration is 2 seconds. We need to loop it to make it run infinitely. I will temporarily disable Chirp synthesizers. And play this. The looping point is very noticeable. To avoid this, we need to change loop start, random, and duration. Because its duration is 2 seconds, I'll change both of them to 1 second. I will also randomize the magnitude. Play it again. This is how you can hide the looping point. To control the duration, I will use an attack to K-sustain release node. We can change the amplitude of a residual synthesizer where it's running. So I will connect this to gain. Promote power up duration to graph input. And connect it to attack time. Change sustain level to 1.0. Promote power down duration to graph input. And connect it to release time. Change release curve to 0.1 to use exponential release. Let's test it. Let's see the final result. look kind of similar. Let's compare them side by side. Powering up. Sustain. Powering down. Close enough. For most games, I think this should be no problem. Let's try sigmoid mode. You can see the overshooting effect here. One final thing, the silent time after powering down is a little bit long. We can use a trigger delay node to end this sooner. Notice the CPU load. A bit high on powering down. You can reduce the number of modals to reduce computational costs. You can also do the same for this node if you don't need too many frequencies. And this is how you can use Chirp synthesizers and a residual synthesizer to simulate an engine sound. You can freely change the pitches, speeds, and durations to sync this with your animation. It is also usable for a lot of other things, such as heavy mechanical doors or miniguns. We still have some built-in models for other engines. You can look for them in Engines folder of modal object or residual data. Cutting machine cutting means that this includes both the engine noise and the cutting noise. If you want more models, feel free to suggest them to us on Discord. You might wonder why we don't have models for cars and motorcycles here. It's because an engine sound is just a part of a car sound effect. For example, sounds from an exhaust pipe are also very important. And for racing games, you want to control sound effects based on speeds. So it requires more research. And this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you again on the next one.